Hello, fifth grade. I've got an idea. Let's get out in the great outdoors. Hey, friends, we're heading out to your new nature spot, the pond at Blandford. We're going to check the ice again, see how much ice there is on the pond. And then I want to start figuring out all of this matter around me. What is it made of? Is it a mixture? Are the things around me elements? Or are they compounds? We're going to look at the difference between those words from chemistry, element, mixture, or compound. We're going to separate them out and figure them out so you know what they mean. So let's get to the pond. What a beautiful evening to be out here in nature. What a difference a week can make. It's much colder, and now there's snow on top of the ice, on top of the pond. This is the same scene. It's a little later in the evening. It's just after 5 o'clock, but well, look at this. There's about 5 inches of snow on the ice, and I've already put a hole in here. And when I measure how thick the ice is, it goes all the way down to just over 4 inches of ice. So that means it's safe for me to walk on. So let's take a look. Hey, remember last week we looked at this pond water and found out that the pond water is actually a mixture. Hey friends, take a look at the water that I dipped out of the pond in the winter. If you take a look at that video from last time, there are things floating in the pond water, bits of plants and things that have decayed. So that makes this water a mixture. But what about water itself? We know water is called H2O. 2 hydrogen atoms chemically bonded, I'll say, to an oxygen atom. So water is truly a compound. Let's figure out what a compound is. Most of the things you see around me here at the nature spot, these things are mostly compounds. Let's take a look at those words. The trees along this trail are made of wood, and wood is a compound. Wood is made of more than one element chemically combined to form this compound that we call wood. And different parts of the tree have different compounds in them. Look at that tree. Trees are made of wood, and wood is a compound. Hey friends, a compound is a substance made of 2 or more elements that are combined chemically. Chemically means they're bonded together. So the compound substance has different properties and characteristics than the elements that make it. When things combine to make compounds, they lose their identities and they become something new. They chemically combined. Compound. Think about it. You know about compounds. You know about water, which is called H2O, 2 hydrogen atoms combined with 1 oxygen. Hey, you know about salt, which is made of sodium and chloride, chemically combined. And you also know about carbon dioxide. It's a compound. Carbon dioxide is a gas that I'm breathing out right now. It's invisible. You can't see it, but it's carbon and oxygen chemically combined. That's the big difference. Compounds. They're different than elements or mixtures. Let's figure it out. So it's pretty interesting how we classify matter. As I walk through these beautiful scenes of nature, I'm looking at both mixtures and compounds. The trees are actually made of compounds inside of them. Snow is made of water, which is a compound. But we're looking through air, which is truly a mixture of different elements in a gas form. So nature is this wonderful combination of mixtures and compounds. And sometimes we find elements in their raw form. Look at this iron nail. Now that iron came from an ore underground. Iron is actually an element. It's a pure substance made of just one kind of atom. So we'll go back into the E-lab and figure out the difference between elements, compounds, and mixtures. It's all part of nature. Hey friends, to understand a compound, let's do a quick review on an element. Remember, elements are pure substances made up of only one kind of atom. If you look at the periodic table of elements, we can see that there aren't too many things that we know about that exist as an element. Here's sulfur, which we find as a mineral. That's sulfur. We find iron, and we use iron. We find it as an ore in the ground, and the iron is smelted out. There's iron, and here's copper. We coat the penny with copper, Cu. There it is. Inside of a penny is actually another element called zinc, but we coat it with copper. Copper's more expensive. Look, here's magnesium. Magnesium is a gray metal which actually burns under a flame. It's a very lightweight, strong metal, magnesium. And then, did you know that aluminum foil is actually the element aluminum, but aluminum comes from this mineral called bauxite. And the aluminum is extracted out of that bauxite through a special process. This paper clip is made of steel, which is actually a mixture between iron and carbon. So it's actually a mixture between the two. So we don't have a lot of elements that we find out in nature in their raw form. Many of the metals are mined out of the ground. Amazing. Remember, elements are a pure substance made up of only one kind of atom.